Good evening and welcome to Leicester Fan TV for tonight's Thursday night fan zone show. As always, I'll be joined by Josh, aka Sportser. Today, really, the big talk is transfer talk. That's what we'll be discussing. There's no football for us to talk about. So we'll be talking about ins and outs for Leicester City, and we'll see how it goes. Get your views in, get your comments in. So, as I mentioned, welcome to Leicester Fan TV for the Thursday Night Fan Zone. I'll just have a look at a couple of people who have joined and commented so far. So, Gray says, evening to you, Gray. Thanks for joining. Get your thoughts in the comments on who you want to see Leicester sign this transfer window. Me and Josh will be talking about it, for 20, 25 minutes, half hour, whatever, however it goes. Gray says, I've heard Casper wants to go to Man United. We are going to discuss that, Gray. So we'll get into that. Graham says, hi, Locks. Hi to you, Graham. And Sean says, good evening. Chasey Lad says, hello, Sunderland fan, also a fan of Leicester. Hope everyone is okay tonight. Also liked and subscribed. Thanks very much for liking and subscribing the video, Chasey Lad. Obviously, yeah, thanks for joining. You get your views in and get your comments in if you want to on who you think Leicester should sign. And finally, yeah, Gray says, I hope he stays. I'm thinking he's talking about Schmeichel, of course. So let's get Josh in as always. Hi, Josh, how are you?
Not bad, Lux. How are you?
Not bad. There's been a few transfer rumours this week, which have got me a bit worried. A couple of things. People have already mentioned it there. Casper, one of them. So I've seen another one today. Have you seen it? Soyuncu?
Yeah,
Soyuncu to Barcelona. 50 million. I mean, I know he's not English, but if we're asking for 60, 70 mil for Chilwell, then we're going to have to ask for at least 100 mil for Soyuncu. Tom says, good evening. Hi to you, Tom. Thanks very much for joining. Tom from Leicester Fan TV did an amazing show last night with Russell Osman. So check that out in our videos. Give that a watch back. Josh, let's start. I want to start with outs because outs might be a bit disappointing, a bit of a disappointing talk because obviously there's going to be some players who we don't want to go. So we'll start with outs and then we'll move on to the players we want to see come in, which will make us a bit more happy. So let's just start with the one which has been on everyone's lips for weeks and weeks and weeks. It's Chilwell. We ask this every week. Just to get your opinion on it again, answer the questions. What do you think? What should we do in terms of Chilwell?
Yeah, we've gone up. Yeah, like I said, we've gone over with this situation for a while now. But overall, it is looking like it's like he's going to go, and it's probably the right thing for us, in my opinion. We talked about it a few weeks ago. Obviously, with the current situation, that there's not as much money coming in, and 60 million, how much it is for Chilwell, it's going to be between 50 and 60, in my opinion. Could be massive if you want to compete in Europe next season and bring him some more players. So overall, for me, I say we have to sell Ben Chilwell. We've got the backup in Luke Thomas, etc. And we could even bring in a left-back replacement. So for me, we have to sell Ben Chilwell.
Yeah, well, A_Lim3 says sell. So just get rid of him. Yeah, I think there's a lot of Leicester fans who do agree with you there. There's a couple of the comments which, there we go. So yeah, Chelsea have gave up on Chile and signing someone else. Yeah, I wouldn't bank on that. There were talks last season of Man United giving up on Maguire, and obviously he went. So I think if they really need a left back coming in towards the end of the transfer window, coming up to the start of the season, then they're going to have to pull the trigger, aren't they? Gray says sell because he will not perform if he wants to leave. Yeah, we've seen that before from other players. If players can force moves, as much as we all hate to really, hate to see it happen, it does happen. So, yeah, I could see it happening. Sam says Chilwell is good going forward, but tackles like a 5-year-old. Get rid. Yeah, I completely agree with Sam. Josh, what do you think on his defending?
Yeah, obviously his defending isn't the best. Obviously, as a modern day fullback, you need to be good going forward as well, but also be solid defensively. And like players like Ben Chilwell just simply, I'm going to be harsh. His defending is just not up to scratch, in my opinion. If you want to compete for Europe, we need to have a left back who can defend and go forward as good as Chilwell can sometimes. Even this season, in my opinion, I don't think he's gone forward that well. He hasn't really created too much.
Yeah, well, Andy says, Sell, his head has been turned. I can't disagree with that. That's what it happens. I don't want to say a big club because Chelsea, in recent seasons, but yeah, when a club like Chelsea comes in for a player, then the head is obviously going to be turned in some way, shape, or form. So yeah, it's going to tempt him. I'm sure they're offering him a pay rise. So yeah, we'll have to see on that. Andy says again, Drinkwater needs a bench, mate. Well, this is what I always think. Like, surely these players see what happens to some of these players that leave us and leaves clubs like us to go to a big club. Do you see that happening, Josh? If Chilwell goes to Chelsea, do you see him wasting away, or do you think that he could actually grow and become a not a legend at Chelsea, but a starter for many years?
Yeah, it's a difficult one in my opinion. If you said that to me last season, I would have said yes. But this season, potentially no. But that could just be down to him trying to force the move with poor performances. So it's a difficult one. I can see kind of a similar situation to Chilwell, maybe a few games in there. But people like Marcos Alonso, I mean, is Marcos Alonso better than Ben Chilwell? To be honest, I think they're both the same, to be honest. So it's going to be difficult for Chile to get in at Chelsea. And, things could turn out just like Danny Drinkwater could, and it could just waste his career.
Yeah, well, Flips has said sell 100% because we need the funds. We do need the funds, but we also need squad depth. So if we're not going to be able to bring in another left back of any quality, it's going to be a bigger problem than what it is if we don't have the funds to, you know what I mean? We can't just lose players and not bring anyone in. So, and I haven't seen us linked. Have you seen us be linked with a left back?
Not for me. I think
I saw Tierney. Tierney I saw a thing with, but
yeah, based on what you said, I think we have to find out the right balance between the funds and the squad depth going into Europe next season. But overall, I haven't really seen us been linked with any left backs in the past we have, but overall recently, not really.
Well, there's one, Nicholas Tagliafico. I don't know. I know his name from FIFA and all that, but I can't pronounce it. Ian says if he wants to go sell Thomas with Fuchs backup. It's hard with Thomas. We've seen, is it 3 games he's played? It's difficult. We can't just assume that he's ready for the first team for a whole season. I mean, I would probably, if we don't have Chilwell and we don't have another left back, I would probably start with Fuchs if he's fit at the start of the season and let Thomas be the backup. Personally, let's move on from Chilwell. Let's get on to a fresh rumor, which over the past few days, and someone's already mentioned it in the comments about how this rumor has been. We've seen it every year, but for some reason it feels different this year. It's Casper leaving. It feels different because I feel like there's a lot more news than what there has. Obviously, his dad's he's linked with Manchester United massively. Kasper Schmeichel is, and I wouldn't in the whole 9 years he's been at the club. I wouldn't have been surprised in any of those years if he went to Man United to play some part. But what are your thoughts on that, Josh? Obviously, fresh rumor. What are your thoughts on Casper potentially leaving the King Power Stadium?
Yeah, it came out the blue for me. Obviously, it's from the Sun, so is it true? Is it not? It's a bit of a difficult one. Just like you said, he has the links to Manchester United for his dad, so potentially, obviously, he is the captain at Leicester, so it would be a bit of a shock, in my opinion, to leave as the captain just like that. It's very out of the blue for me, but I mean, is he better than David De Gea at the moment? He probably is. So if he wants to go to Man United, get Champions League football next year, have a few go for the title possibly again. Fair play to him. Obviously, he's been a good servant for Leicester, so it's his decision. But overall, I can't see him going.
Yeah, well, everyone remember, get your views in, get your thoughts in on Schmeichel. Kasper Schmeichel, he's been at the club 9 years. 9 years. He's made 339 appearances in there for Leicester. That's a massive amount of appearances for us. I think it'll be massive. I think it'll be massive if we lose him, personally. Do I think that we could replace him? I think we possibly could. I don't think it's one of the worst players to potentially leave us this summer. With, I mean, we're going to get onto it briefly, but obviously Soyuncu's linked away, Chilwell's linked away. Him and Chil, it's not a massive loss, but it is still big. It is still big, and it's more money that we're going to have to splash out on a keeper to another keeper to bring in. I'm going to add well, just before I add Reece in, I'm just going to look at some of the other comments here just about that Schmeichel situation. Remember, guys, get your comments in about Casper leaving. What are your thoughts on that? So Joshua said, if Man U want him, get Dean Henderson in a swap deal. Yeah, I think they would probably rather keep Dean Henderson than Schmeichel, if I'm honest. So I think that's out of the picture, Joshua. Andy says, you can't fault him for wanting to follow in his dad's footsteps. I mean, we just said that. It's a move that I wouldn't have been surprised about over the past few years, really, at all, if he was going as a backup. Do I think he's going to start at Man United? I think if they're looking for a starter, then they may as well just keep Dean Henderson. So I think the fact they've got Dean Henderson is the only thing which is making me doubt this transfer move. You know what I mean, Josh?
Yeah,
because he's a good keeper, Dean Henderson.
Yeah, and they've got Romero as a backup as well, and he's not a bad keeper either. So I think the only way he's going to probably go is if Man U sell De Gea. Obviously, he was linked to Real Madrid a few years ago, but yeah, I think Man U I've got Dean Henderson, Romero, De Gea, all three very good goalkeepers. I can't see it, to be honest.
Well, Sean said we need him for big games. I mean, he's made some big saves for us since in the project restart. So yeah, who knows? I'm going to add in Reece now, and we'll get his opinion on a couple of things as well. But yeah, let's get him in. Hi, Reece. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Everyone all right?
Yes, good, thank you. We'll start with this then, Reece. Just as you join, perfect timing. What are your thoughts on these rumours linking Schmeichel with a move away to Manchester United?
Well, I mean, if I'm honest, I don't think he'll go, if I'm honest. But I think reading some of the other things that people have said, you can't really blame him for wanting to go to a club like Manchester United, and especially now when they're in the Champions League and following his dad's footsteps, like people have said.
Yeah, I completely agree with you there. Nate said, I don't want to sell Schmeichel, but it's pretty much inevitable if Man United obviously come knocking, I suppose. Which, if Man United come knocking, let's say to both of you, let's say he was going to go. How much? I'll start with you, Josh. How much do you think, with his age? I know he's a keeper, so obviously he lasts longer than outfield players. But how much do you think we should be asking for?
Yeah, it's a tough one. Obviously, in the modern day, keeper prices are always rising. But overall, I don't think it'll go as much as like a Chilwell or a Ricardo. So potentially 30 to 40 million. I think it's a difficult one to predict, but around that sort of fee, I think.
And Reece, I know that obviously you don't think he's going to go, but like I said, if he was to go, how much would you value him at now?
Yeah, around about that price, around about £30 million mark. Around about 30 million.
Yeah, I mean, Joanna said Casper doesn't like to be compared to his dad. If he's going anywhere, it won't be United. His heart's in Leicester. He'll stay. I mean, look, I think the only club he would leave for now is Man United. I don't think he's going to go to any other club. But she's right. Joanna is right. He has come out in previous times and said he doesn't like to be compared to his dad. It's a bit difficult with that starfish save he always does, but yeah, we'll have to see on that one. Let me just get the final comments in on Schmeichel. Would anyone swap for Henderson in the deal? I'm guessing he's on about that Schmeichel Henderson swap deal. I don't think that would ever happen. That would be ludicrous by United. You'd have Dean Henderson over Kasper Schmeichel any day of the week. I think 23 years old. So that's not going to happen. And another one there, 40 mil or swap for Henderson. I'm going to ignore them. No offense, but just I'm not going to entertain that. So let's move on. The last out question. Do we sell anyone? So I've spoken with Josh a few times about this, and Phil as well. And it's like, some people say we need to get rid of Deadwood, but should we, when we've got a European campaign and a Premier League campaign, we're going to need squad depth. I'll start with you, Reece. Do you think we should sell anyone, even if they're Deadwood?
Yeah, I do think we need to get some players out to get some in. I mean, players like Matty James on 40 grand a week is ridiculous. He played about 5 games in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
If that. players like that. I mean, Amati maybe, but I thought Amati played well before he got his injury, to be honest. But even another one that really needs to go. I'd say there's quite a few that needs to be out the door, so we can bring in some.
Oh, yeah, no, I lost you there a little bit, Reasoner, but I got you in the end. Yeah, I mean, obviously you mentioned Matty James, 40 grand a week. Jack said it then, sell Matty James. Yeah, I suppose so. I just don't think we can't sell too much, can we? Because we are going to need squad depth next season. But yeah, Josh, what do you think? Selling? Who do you see leaving? Who would you be happy or not happy? But who would you allow to leave this summer?
Yeah, it's a tough one. I'm going to go back to it. We need to find the balance between selling of players and bringing in next season. So I think we do have to get rid of some Deadwood players, but I think keeping hold of players like Somani would be important in Europe next season. But like Reece mentioned, I think Matty James, possibly Andy King, both good servants, brilliant servants to the club. But overall, I think it's time to go for them to bring in some extra funds and reinvest that into some more experienced players.
Yeah, just some examples here. Nick says we sell Slimani, Silva, James, Diabate, Gazal, and Amati. I think if you said Leicester Deadwood, they would be the names there. Slimani, who knows? There's been conversations and discussions about him. Would he be a good player to keep in the team for squad depth and Plan B and all that? What do you think, Reece? Slimani?
Well, he's got European experience. He knows how to. He does know how to play the game. I don't think he's got a bad record for us. He did quite well at Monaco this season. He only played a few games, so I don't think he's a bad player. And if we need that Plan B, I think he's more of a Plan B than Phil's favourite and sticking Morgan up top 10 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, Wes Morgan was the only option last season because obviously Slimani was away. But yeah, I agree with you. He's a better option. Jack says we need some European experience for next season, which is, yeah, like you said it, Reece. Some people would say he's Deadwood. Some people wouldn't. However, he got a few goals for us in a few goals in the Champions League that season. Obviously, with his headers and things like that. So yeah, he's got experience there. And remember, guys, if any of you want to join the stream, like obviously Reece has, then please, there's a link I'm just putting in the comments here. Just click the link, put your name in, and you can come on. So yeah, it's this comment here for anyone who is obviously looking at the comments now. It's this one. So if you click that, then you can come and join. Jack says, I'd give Slim a chance under Brendan, 100%. Jack, click the link. Come on and tell us what you think. But yeah, like we said, Slimani, I think that he'd still be a handy player to have in the squad, 100%. So yeah, I'd agree with you there. Josh, I'm guessing you'd like to keep him.
Yeah, I think we should. Just like you've said, yeah, he has good experience in the European level, and even in the Champions League, we saw that when he first came, he did quite well in the group stage, scored more goals than Vardy. So in the Champions League as well, maybe we need to switch things up. So I think Slimani could be good next season. Obviously, he probably won't start in the league, but even in the cup competitions as well, and in Europe, I think we need to keep hold of him. 3 strikers. I think we need 3 next season.
Yeah, well, Joanna says Slim is the kind of goal hanger we need to get in the end. If any loose balls, he's good in the air, which he is. He's out of the players in our team, in our squad. He's probably the best in the air, isn't he? Apart from obviously any of the defenders. But that's it. We're going to leave it there in terms of outs. Let's move on to ins. So yeah, I mean we've been linked with a few players over the past few weeks. I think the first player weeks and weeks ago was Coutinho. That's died down a bit, and it came back up again a couple of days ago. I've got a question for you both. I'll start with you, Reece. Do you think we could sign Coutinho? And let's reword that. Would you like to sign Coutinho? And if you would, do you think we could?
Absolutely. I mean, who wouldn't want to sign Coutinho with his record? He played for Liverpool and in the Premier League he did very well, which is why he went for 100-odd million to Barcelona. I don't think he's had the best season at Bayern Munich, but he's worked with Rodgers before, and that's what we've got to think. I think it's a possibility. but you got to think that other teams are going to be interested as well if he's going to be available. And teams, I know Arsenal have got Europa League now. And I wouldn't say Arsenal are better than us or even on a better pathway than us, but they're a bigger club, and sometimes that's what makes the players go.
Well, they've managed to get to the FA Cup final and win it. So we didn't. So yeah, you've always got that. Josh Coutinho.
Yeah, I have to agree with Reece completely. I think it's going to be very difficult to sign, but any player like that, any type of player who can do what he does, we've seen it. He's a top quality player. Obviously, recent years he's struggled, but overall, I think we all know that Coutinho is one of the best attacking players in the whole world at times. So I would love him to come, but overall, with teams interested like Arsenal, yeah, it's going to be tough to sign it, but I'll definitely take him.
Yeah, I agree with you. Another one there we could do on a loan deal with an option to buy. Just before James is going to join in, and we'll get his opinion on a couple of the signings or the potential signings. But just before I do that, we've seen this in a few of the comments. We keep seeing loan to buy, loan with option to buy. I could see that being a theme this season, because a lot of the clubs don't have the money at the minute to go out and spend 50, 60, 70 million on players. So they might need to do this, mightn't they, Reece? So obviously with limited transfer budgets and things like that.
Yeah, I think with obviously King Power being a travel-based kind of thing, also all the money income is on travel, isn't it? So
yeah,
I think that obviously, I mean, we've got money if we want to spend it. I think it's just the way we spend the money is different. We don't go and spend 70, 80 million pounds on a player. We spend 20 million, if that, and develop the player into a quality player. So
yeah, no, I agree with you. Let's add in James. Let's get his opinion on Coutinho while we're talking about it. Hi James, how are you?
Hi guys, how's it going?
Yeah, very, very good, thank you.
Good.
Thanks for joining. We're on the topic of Coutinho here now.
Right.
What are your thoughts on him? Do you think? I mean, the question I asked Reece was, would you want him at Leicester? And if yes, do you think we could sign him?
I think he's a quality player. He's obviously been to places like Bayern Munich and Liverpool. He's proved he's worth buying. And to be fair, I think there'll be quite a few teams after him, like obviously Arsenal, Tottenham, all the rest really.
Yeah.
And I'd like us to sign him, but I can't see it, to be fair. I can't see us signing a player like Coutinho.
Well,
I'd love him to come to Leicester. But...
Yeah. I mean, Sam mentioned here and Graham mentioned here wages. That's going to be a big issue, isn't it? He is going to be wanting a couple $100,000 a week to sign for us, and that could upset a few things. You've got Vardy. I mean, I don't know the specific. I think he's on about 130, 120, something like that a week. So if you've got
not
Coutinho,
only that, you've got Maddison's just signed a new contract, hasn't he? Yeah, so that I don't know how much he'd be on now.
No, I think I've seen rumours of that being about 120 or 110, something like that. So, but yeah, it could upset a few things if you bring in a $200,000 a week player. 100%. Let's move on from Coutinho, because I mean that's just been going round and round for a long time. Let's move on to a couple of the more recent ones. Now, I'll start with Josh on this one. Francisco Trincao, is it, or Trincao? I don't know. Obviously, Barcelona. He's 20 years old. He's scored 28 goals in his professional career so far, which isn't awful. That's for club and country and under 21s and things like that. What are your thoughts on this news that's come out, Josh? Obviously, I think we've seen another loan to buy option, £50 million, £40 million, all of that. What are your thoughts, Josh?
Yeah, of course he's a winger, a youngster. He's been compared to Ronaldo, so I'll definitely take him. But yeah, the only thing I'm worried about is the lack of experience. I think he's played out on loan at Braga this season, I do believe, and I'm hearing that it's a 2-year loan with an option to buy, like we've said. But yeah, I mean, I'll definitely take him. It's a winger. It's something a bit different. He's been compared to like a Ronaldo kind of / a Riyad Mahrez. So I'll definitely take him. But the only thing for me is that lack of experience. But if he can, I mean, I'll be quite happy to have him.
And Reece, what about you?
He's a good player. I've seen a few clips of him before, and I mean, I don't think Boss only recently signed him, haven't they, as well?
Yeah.
Because I remember about a year ago, I mentioned his name in a group chat that I won't name. And I got absolutely slated for it and saying this player will not come to us. Never in a million years will this player ever come to us. And now we're being linked with him. So yeah, he's a good player. I'd definitely take him.
And have you seen this news, James? What are your thoughts on it?
I think he's been a bit of a flop for Barcelona, hasn't he? I mean, he came, as you said, just then. He's come from Benfica, and I think it's probably definitely worth a punt. And as I said, we definitely need a new forward at the moment, and because we can't always be relying on Jamie Vardy. And I think but 50 million for, I don't know, I'm not sure. I think,
well, yeah. I mean, Gray said also Spanish league is different to Prem. Would he be able to adapt? But you're best off adapting when you're younger, right? Obviously, it's better than him playing there for years and then having to move over a bit older on, a bit later on. Last question I want to ask Reese and James before I let you both go. It's a very broad question, but I'm putting a limit on it. So the question is, who would you sign? Now, you get one player this transfer window who you want to sign, and I'll start with you, Reese.
I mean, I could give you a name as long as my arm.
One.
but if there's one player I would go and sign, it'd be St. Maximin from Newcastle, because that is special.
Bring the Gucci band to the King Power, the Gucci headband.
He'll have a King Power one.
I wasn't expecting that one, Reese, that St. Maximin out of all the players, but fair enough. I think it would be a good signing. We need a winger. James, what about you?
For me, it's got to be Danny Ings. For me, he'd set in quite well there. I think him and Vardy up front, that'd be brilliant. But I can't see Southampton selling one of their best players.
It's going to be a lot of money as well.
It's going to be a lot of money as well. So, but for me, Danny Ings all day long. Yeah,
no, I agree with both of you. I would probably say James is one over yours, Reese, a little bit. But we need a winger, and if you're going to bring anyone in, why not him? He has been special in a poor Newcastle team, hasn't he? So thanks to both of you for joining. Hope you both join us next Thursday. Me and Josh will be back on next Thursday, same time. And we might have some more players to talk about. But thanks again for coming on. All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Cheers. Thank you. Cheers. Josh, I'll ask this question. Actually, let's do it at the end. Let's do it at the end, me and you. We won't answer that right now. So let's move on to two more players. One of them we're linked with more than the other, Ben Rama and Watkins. Now, we're linked with Ben Rama more. I think I've saw something. Are they valuing both of them at 50 million, or one of them? What have you seen?
Yeah, I think Ben Rama's about 50 million, but for Watkins, I've heard there's an 18 million release clause, I think. So I think a lot of Premier League clubs are after him. For Ben Rama, I think it's going to be a high price. I'm not too sure exactly, but yeah, for Watkins, I have heard that it is 18 million release clause, which would be great if we could get him.
Sorry, how much was it? 18.
18, yeah.
For Watkins.
Mm.
We'll have to see, but I mean, I know if I was the manager, I know what I'd be doing there. I'd be triggering that release clause straight away. Ben Rama, Algerian, started his youth career at a French team. Does it sound familiar? Riyad Mahrez. I mean, we tried this with Ghazal, so let's not compare him to Mahrez, because it all went downhill with Ghazal. But what are your thoughts on Ben Rama? I mean, I'm sure you've seen Ben Rama play a lot more than you've seen Francisco Trincao or whoever it is. What are your thoughts on him as a player?
Yeah, he's a good player. Obviously, being compared to Mahrez, and obviously we do need a winger, so he could be the perfect guy to come in. He's quite a tricky type winner, and I think the most important thing is Brentford are still in the Championship, and I think a lot of Premier League clubs are after their players. And I think if you go in for Ben Rama, if he has, I don't know, Aston Villa, Brighton, he's going to probably go to Leicester, the European football. So, yeah, I would definitely take him at Leicester. It's just a matter of if we could actually go in to get Ben Rama or not.
Yeah, sorry, someone mentioned here, Joshua said it's 50 for the two of them. I think, I know it's going to be difficult with the financial issues and all of that, which every club's got at the minute. However, if we had 50 million to spend, I would put it on them too, because they have been good. They have been brilliant. So, I mean, Gray says here, I watched Ben Rama in the playoffs. He looks good. I mean, I follow this Twitter account and I take the mick out of him. I don't think he's watching. I don't think he does watch. Have you seen? I won't say the name actually, but basically, the one thing he's been saying, which I agree with, and the one thing he's spoken, which is actually, makes sense all season for nearly a year now, is Ben Rama. And I remember at the start of the season, he was mentioning his name, and I was like, yeah, whatever, it's just another one of them players. But since then, month after month, interest in him has grown, and I think he's a great player. So Finn says Watkins is 18 mil. He had a clause, but because they didn't go up. So if they're asking for 50 million for both of them, that means Ben Rama's going to be 32 million if that's how they're working out. So that's a lot. I think we're nearly really at the end of the ins and outs and all of that. Yeah. Obviously, we've mentioned Francisco Trincao, we've mentioned Coutinho, we've mentioned Ben Rama, Watkins. Tarkowski we didn't mention. We can do that next Thursday if there's been no developments. But we've seen, wasn't that 50 million as well?
Yeah, I've heard 50 million for that.
We can't really slate them, can we? Because of what we did with Maguire. But yeah, it's a lot of money. It happened with. I mean, how much did Ake go to Man City for? Do you know?
I think 40 million, something around that fee. So still a lot.
So roughly what they were asking from us last season, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then let's just get the last. Actually, no, we'll do this question now, Josh, which we asked the last two lads. Who would you sign? So I'll go with you first. One player, obviously within let's not say Messi and Ronaldo and Neymar and all that, but one player. Who do you think we should sign this window?
Yeah, it's $1 million question. Last week I said Demario from Juve, but I don't think that's going to happen. So I'm going to agree with James. I'm going to go Danny Ings. I think he'd be a cracking signing up top with Vardy. I think them two could make a brilliant partnership. Like James said, it's going to cost a lot, but I think that could be a great signing for Leicester, especially in Europe as well. Maybe Vardy could play Premier League, he could play Europe. I think it'd be a good combination.
Oh, I mean, Danny Ings is an absolute. He's a great striker. I just think. I'm just looking at a comment Reese has put. By the way, we don't need a striker. I'm not too sure on that. I think a lot of people would disagree with you, but a lot of people would agree with you, Reese. So, we have got Nacho. We've got Slimani. So, yeah, maybe we don't need a striker, but I think people are just looking maybe for a bit more quality. But you said Danny Ings. I would say Danny Ings as well. I'm not going to, but I'm saying it's a good shout. I'm going to go with. I'm a bit like Reese here. I've got a list. I'm gonna. You know what? I'm just gonna go with Ben Rama because I am so desperate for us to sign a winger. I know we bought Perez, but he's not a winger. I don't care what anyone says. He's best behind. Yeah, he's best in the middle. So I'm going to go Ben Rama, and I think if he's going for however much, as long as it's not silly money, I think we should put in a bid. But yeah, obviously, Josh, thanks for joining again tonight. Obviously, you'll be on next Thursday, the Thursday after that, probably when the season starts. So yeah, obviously, me and Josh will be back on next Thursday at 7:30. And obviously hope to get everyone in again. So yeah, thanks for joining, Josh. All right.
No problem. Cheers, lads.
Cheers. So guys, get your final comments in. Answer that question. I'm going to go through the comments, so I'll read them out and see what people have put. Who would you sign? One player. That's all you can pick. One player. I want to see the difference in players that people are putting down, and I'll start to go through them now. So get your comments in. This is our question instead of score prediction, if you like. So. This name's popping up a lot. Edward from Celtic, a striker. Reese will disagree with you. And a few others will disagree with you that say we don't need a striker, but I think he's got some talent, Edward. So here's another one. Joshua Palmer says Edward as well. Rob Chapman says Eduardo. I think he means Edward. Nick says Edouard 100% Ings won't leave Saints. Yeah, I don't think Ings will leave, and I think if he was, it was going to cost a lot of money. So Edouard's probably a good shout. Gray says Perez needs to play in the right position. Yeah, he does 100%. Gray said Leon Bailey. That's going to be another one that's going to cost a lot of money, but if we could pull it off, then what a sign-in. He's got bags of potential. Joshua says Ben Rama, but if you want some Premier League proven, get Sarr. I wouldn't say Sarr's Premier League proven, if I'm honest. I wouldn't say he's shown glimpses, but I wouldn't say he's been relegated. He had some games where he showed his talent, but not enough for me, not yet. Paul has said David Brooks from Bournemouth. Yeah, I think that would be a great signing. And let's end on this comment here. He is spamming it. Ryan Bennett. Yeah, let's not go for that. But yeah, obviously, guys, thanks so much for everyone who's joined tonight. You know, who's clicked the link. Reese, James, all of you for clicking the link and coming on and having a chat. We'll be back next Thursday, me and Josh, at 7:30, and hope to get more of you on. Thanks for those who have got your comments in and said who you want to, who you want us to sign. Nick says Traore from Wolves. Another one there from Rob. Another one, Edouard. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. We'll have more transfer talk next Thursday. We might actually have a sign-in to report on. I doubt it, but we could do. Remember, guys, check us out on our socials: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, at Leicester Fan TV, and on our website at www.leicesterfantv.com. Thanks to all our sponsors. ADT, Eat Me, Tiger, Leicester Garage Conversions, Piglet's Pantry, Fox's Arms, Jamie, all of you, Memphis, Pink. So yeah, it's brilliant to these guys bring you guys the free content. They allow us to do that for you. So that's great. But yeah, once again, guys, I mentioned it a moment ago. www.leicesterfantv.com. Check that page out because you can win a free 1920. No, it's not, is it? It's 2020-2021 home shirt. You can win it for free. Zilch. You won't need to go to the fan store and buy one. You can win it for free. Just go on to www.leicesterfantv.com to check that out. And hopefully, fingers crossed, you can win a free Leicester shirt, whether you like it or not. You can get it. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. That's the end of the show. Once again, thanks for joining, and yeah, we'll see you next Thursday to discuss more transfers.